if we count a happy guest as well, we have names for 3 of our animals, but we still have a cat, a creaking, and a horse left. So if you got any names for those, I'm all ears. I'm terrible with names, so I'm not gonna... Wait, that tree is kind of weird. And something behind me there? I'm gonna investigate, but that's gonna be for next video, because honestly this video is already way too full, so we'll have to find out. When did I get back into my druid clothes? What is that? This looks like some form of pinkish flower? Some bubbles coming out. Oh, there's a massive one over here. But look at these trees at the side, that does not look healthy at all. The ground as well, looks like the grass is dying around it. Maybe these flowers are some form of parasites that are kind of like sipping resource away from the rest of the trees and everything. I don't know what the bubbles are though. Oh, there's even a small one right over here. But yeah, you can see clearly like the tree is slowly sort of being absorbed, or that's not the right word, but the resources that the tree was using are being absorbed by the flower instead. I know that's parasitic or just competition among species, to be honest. So don't worry about the arrow in my arm, but after having a little look through all these trees and things, or trees, flowers and things, I think there's some form of like parasitic plant. Which I know kind of immediately sounds bad, like we should get rid of this, but parasites do have their role in the ecosystem. Mainly they make space for other species to kind of regrow. But we'll have to see, because the idea is it kills, like, for example, this tree will probably die because of this. And then the idea is that this tree becomes like nutrients for future plants, and the place that all these trees are now taking up would become like space where new plants can grow. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but I think for the time being it looks just like a plant, a little bit of a strange plant. I'm not sure how the bubbles work. Maybe there's spores of some... That would maybe be bad actually. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay, armor back on because we're not doing any rituals and I'm still being shot at. So let's go to where I actually want to be. Where is there? I genuinely don't know where that's there. Where did I want? Yeah, here. Last episode, we placed our creaking in this tiny biome. And this episode, I want to kind of set a perimeter and maybe spruce up the area a little bit to give the creaking some space. And kind of make like a little living area for it. Also, I don't really have a plan for this. I'm just gonna... Hello. So yeah, I don't really have a plan for this. I'm just gonna kind of like wing it. We'll see what happens. The one part of the plan I do have is the bed. Because it gets dangerous at night here, as you could see moments ago. Hi, Editing Slump here. Today we have a couple of shorter time lapses that don't really feel right for the usual music while showing off a build style time lapses. So instead I'm just gonna ramble for a bit, and today's topic, my great idea on how to start a future D&D campaign. I have found a little hole that the creatures really like. Because there aren't a lot of spawning places anymore in this area. Could be somewhere around here. Maybe it's actually... Let's just have that creeper explode over there. Come on, explode. There we go. Just a quick little adventure while we are... I don't know how I didn't die there. I don't have a shield on me or anything, so our greatest weapon is our torch. I hope this is at least enough to not have to deal with the noises they're constantly making while I'm working above. Anyway, let's close this back up. There! Tiny mini adventure! Even more arrows today! It's starting to become a trend this episode, which I wasn't planning on, but we'll see what happens. Adding Slump again, so before session 0, you ask your players what themes they'd like or want to avoid during the campaign, for example pirates or low magic or something like that. Make sure all the players have their voices heard and try to work through any disagreements. Then you tell them not to think too much of their characters yet, we'll discover them during session 0, but if they really want something specific, they can send it to you so you can keep it in mind. So I was walking around in my base and I suddenly heard Happy around, and I was a little bit surprised because, oh, you can't see. I'm the only one on the server right now, and I don't know what this is. I think Raven warned me for this. There. I was gonna say Giggles last episode, but I don't think there's a more appropriate name right now than this. I have done a little bit of off-camera work as well. First off, this path here. It's gonna be a full path, but for now it's just this little bit to kind of like focus people on the tree, and as well as I kind of made like a little moss wall or pale moss wall surrounding it to people don't accidentally walk into it, because it might be dangerous at night. And previously I placed like a quick sign on it being like, hey, don't touch this one. But I think at this point it's obvious enough that this is a custom area, so we don't need to like there's obviously placed there. I don't think anyone's gonna think like, oh, this is just a natural spawning thing. Okay, I don't know where this is going into the video, but I really need to get a hold of my storage system. It is just getting worse and worse. And even here it's getting worse. Yeah, I think I'm gonna turn this area over here into a storage area and maybe add a little exit actually, because that's also an exiting like this over here. Well, like this. Yeah, we're changing this now. Adding Slump once more. With all the info you just got, start sketching a scene that fits the theme your players mentioned. But keep it vague. For example, a ship transporting prisoners is undergoing a mutiny. Then prepare a couple questions to ask about the scene. For example, why did this mutiny start? Where are the prisoners being shipped towards? Stuff like that. Then during session 0, go in a circle around the players and ask them these questions. Everyone can give their input. No, I'm not done yet. Let the player you asked answer first, and they have the final say as to what the answer to your question is. I think you go until all players have answered 2 questions or so, and I recommend you also then prepare 2 questions per player so you don't get stuck. But don't be afraid to abandon the questions you came up with and to base your questions on the situation your players create with their answers. Then at the end, you ask your players one final question. Who are they in this scene? And in case of the mutiny, I recommend making sure they're all on the same side of the mutiny, of course. But then Raven just got back from Sweden and she had some gossip to share. Simultaneously, Emmy just baked cookies, so I offered to host, but I realized I don't have anywhere to sit, so I quickly built somewhere for us to sit. Emmy brought the cookies, I brewed some tea, and Raven spilled the tea. Great time was had by all. Wait, wasn't I supposed to be doing something? Okay, this is definitely not a distraction of me fixing my storage system, but I figured, since I have a bunch of stuff, for example, all these beds and blocks of bamboo that I'm never going to use. And on the server we have a little area where people who don't have a lot of time to play on the server can grab some free stuff, let's just bring a bunch of stuff there, and then I don't have to worry about sorting it, and people can use it if they want it. Okay, and this is my I think honeycombs go here, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, this is my last delivery of stuff here. Well, someone else sort it, I guess. Okay, but perfect. We've added this entire section, and we've done, I think, something in every box here. I think the least here because people went end raiding, so they found a bunch of cool stuff, which I didn't have. But yeah, I think we've done a good job here. Anyway, I think that's all right. I wasn't doing anything else. Probably. Nah, I wasn't doing anything else. Nah. Being here in the shopping district has made me realize there's some good stuff for sale here. Over here, there's Raven's wood shop, and we do need a lot of wood. Up till now, I've been doing well with the amount of trees I have to remove for them to replant, but nice. And Happy has like a vegetation shop here that's just very useful. And obviously books and stuff, but meanwhile, and I have a lot of money. I'm getting poor. So, luckily, we can craft home coins. So let's go do that. To craft home coins, we need some gold. We need some raw copper. We need some diamonds. And you know, I technically have a bunch of diamonds, but wouldn't it be nicer if we didn't need those? We have this cauldron here. And you know that there's a thing about alchemists trying to make gold from other materials and failing, but what if I wanted to turn gold into another material? I think that would go a lot better. So the regular home coin crafting recipe, we put that and those, and now we put a diamond in the middle, and we can craft a home coin. But that's a little bit too expensive for my taste. We're gonna use some magic to replace that diamond with something else. Okay, I have done a little bit of experimenting, and well, we have had some success. Let's quickly go back. Let me explain for a moment. So normally the way you make a home coin is you grab a diamond and 4 raw copper and 4 gold nuggets, and you craft like that. But diamonds are really just compressed coal. So if we instead use this, and as you can maybe tell, I've set these items up, and then first we do in the cauldron, and in the cauldron, and also, and as well, and as well, and this too, and this too, and this too. We do need to add the coal last, so need to be sure that everything is nice and dissolved in the soup. Okay, I forgot that would take a little bit longer now that I'm not just doing one, but a whole bunch at the same time. Okay, so now we add the coal. And now, if everything goes well, soon this chest should fill with a stack of home coins. Oh, there it goes. Amazing. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there for this episode. I'm gonna make a bunch more home coins this way. And I'm pretty sure they're indistinguishable from regular home coins. So I don't feel like this is fraud at all. I feel like there's something about storage I was gonna do, but Now, who does search when you can have home coins? No, admittedly, 33 out of the 64 I was expecting. That's about a 50% success rate. So maybe I just got lucky on the first one. But, you know, 50% success rate isn't terrible if you take into account that we're changing coal into diamonds. But maybe we can improve it somewhat. For now, I did have silk. Let's see if I just throw some more coal in here. Gonna work. Maybe I just need more coal than I usually could buy. Happy doesn't like the magics I'm doing here. It's gonna work. Oh, yeah, it kind of worked. Okay, so when in doubt, throw more coal in, I guess. I'm gonna leave the video here. Okay, kidding aside, I will have a look at my storage system in between episodes. It just didn't feel like very interesting content for the video. So you got distractions instead. Anyway, I hope to see you next one. Bye bye!